Hi everyone, so it's been a hot minute since I've filmed. Last week I had to take a break, just for personal reasons. I was quite unwell and my boyfriend was unwell, and it was just a lot of things have happened in the past week that have taken a toll on me mentally, and it's meant that I've just not had the motivation to film. But I'm back with you today. So, as promised, I'm going to go into what happened in my autism assessment, and I'm going to give a little bit of a life update as well at the end of the video. So, in the last video I filmed, which was 2 weeks ago now, I'd said that I was really relieved to have my assessment. It was coming up. It was on the 9th of July, which was last Tuesday. And I'm just going to go through that a little bit. In the morning, me and my boyfriend got up and met my mum because she knew where the place was that I was getting assessed. So the three of us went along together. And the appointment was an hour and a half. So the way they work it now is, which I was completely unaware of, and for anybody in the Northeast who's going through the assessment process, you will not have a diagnosis on the day now. It doesn't happen anymore. Your assessment will be split into 2 parts. So that first appointment is the first part of your assessment. Okay, so my first part of the assessment was basically going through a very long questionnaire. There was about 80 questions, and me and my mum and Joe had went through those questions. You had to answer either 1, 2, 3 or 4. So 1 was always in adulthood and childhood. 2 was mostly in adulthood. 3 was mostly in childhood, and 4 was not at all. So it was questions like the texture of your clothes is more important than they look, and things like that. So different kinds of questions. And then we sort of had a conversation in between those, because sometimes it isn't clear cut, and then when you have more of a conversation you get to an answer easier. Sorry, I'm kind of rocking up and down because I've been very stimmy recently and I don't know why. So if I start sort of I'm bouncing my leg right now, you can't see it. If I start like fidgeting and stuff, in fact I'm going to get one of my Chewy Gems just to fiddle with while I'm talking so I don't bounce my leg. So we had those questions and it was very mentally draining, I'm not going to lie. There were a lot of questions, but I feel as though it needs to be thorough and it needs to be done properly. So then after that, the 2 assessors, they were both very, very lovely ladies. They said, go on a break for about 15 minutes and we'll gather everything. So, I decided that I was going to get a cup of tea on this break, and then we went back. And what caused a meltdown for me in my appointment? Yes, I had a meltdown in my appointment, so if that isn't proof enough as it is, then I don't know what. I said, so we're going to arrange your next appointment. And I kind of looked at them really confused. I was like, what? And they're like, oh yeah, the next part of your assessment. And I kind of looked at them and I was like, I thought that I was going to be having all of it done today. And they're like, no, we do 2 parts and the second part is later on, and we don't have anything until September now. So as you can imagine, that disappointed me. I kind of held myself back in the room, and then we booked the appointment. The next appointment's on the 3rd of September. And in the waiting room I just burst into tears, and it's a really difficult thing, 26 years of waiting, and then to be told, oh, you've actually got another 2 months to wait. And I know it's not the biggest amount of time, but for somebody that's already been waiting their whole lives to understand themselves and get further clarification on themselves and why they behave that way and their thought process and why they aren't normal. I hate that word. It's really, really difficult. And I just burst into tears, and the assessor could see that I was upset when she came to give us my letter. And she was like, I completely understand, but we have to do this properly because your case is slightly more complicated. If you want, I can do another video on another condition I've got called Turner syndrome. So I'm not going to go into a great detail about what that involves, but all you really need to know for the purpose of this video is that there's a lot of overlapping traits with Turner syndrome and autism. So, sorry, I've got a bit of a sore throat. That's another reason why I haven't filmed. I've picked up the lurg. Yeah. And it does need to be done properly, and I appreciate that. And that's why when I sort of went into a bit of a depression that day, because I just thought I'm never going to get answers. I'm never going to get the answers that I need, because it's gonna take too long, and by that point, I'm just going to be done. I'm going to be completely done with everything. But I picked up the next day, and I thought, you know what? I know the answers in myself, and this is a process I have to go through. This is a process that everybody on this journey has to go through, and it's worth the battle to have that bit of paper, because that bit of paper, loads of people have asked me, oh, why do you think you need a diagnosis? Why do you feel like you need to be validated? I need this because it opens a lot of doors support-wise, and if you're not diagnosed, you're not covered under the Equality Act either in terms of any discrimination that you might face in your daily life, whether that be workplace or accessibility to places when you're out and about and things. So there's so many reasons why I want my diagnosis, but I think the main one for me is to just understand myself a bit better. And once I have that label, you know, I don't understand why people do need labels, but it's only been recently that I've like, you know what, I completely understand now. People need labels to feel like they're a part of something. And that's such a big thing, to feel part of something. Sorry, I feel quite upset. I didn't want to get upset. But no, all my life I've wanted to be part of something, and it's really hard. So that's what happened at my assessment. Part 2 is on the 3rd of September, which is a Tuesday again. So I'm hoping, because this appointment's going to be longer, the first appointment letter, it said please allow an hour. This one said please allow 3 hours. So this one is going to be a lot longer. And I'm hoping at the end of that one that they'll be able to decide whether I need more tests or whether they can give me a diagnosis, because I have given them so much evidence at that appointment. I gave them a statement from my mum's best friend who used to look after me as a child. I gave them an educational psychologist report from Newcastle University. I gave them school reports, and then my mum was there to verify what I was saying, and if that's not evidence enough, I really don't know what is. So they took photocopies of everything. I also gave them a list of reasons why I think I'm autistic as well. But if that's not reason enough, then I really don't know what is. And I think having the first assessment has put my mind at rest a lot, knowing that the ball is rolling now, and that's the attitude I have to have, because that's more than can be said for a lot of people at this point. So my ball is rolling. I really hope that September comes along quickly, because I need this in my life right now, because there's a lot of support that I'm not getting, and there are a lot of things that are failing me right now because of this weight. So that's what happened. And as I said at the beginning of the video, because I usually say, oh, I'll tell you at the end of the video, but I forget to do it. But this time, I'm not going to. So a little bit of a life update as well. I'm starting to go to the gym. Yes, that's right. I'm starting to go to the gym. So for a very, very long time, I can also do a video about body image as well, if you want. I have so many ideas for videos. I just needed that little bit of a break. So I started going to the gym because I was diagnosed with celiac disease, which, for those of you who don't know, it's an autoimmune condition, which means that my body cannot process gluten. And even a crumb can make me very, very sick. So I was diagnosed with that in university. And ever since then, the weight has just piled on. Now, at university, I used to be in between, I would even go as far as to say a size 6 to a size 8, because I would try size 10 stuff on and it would be baggy. So I was in between a size 6 and a size 8 at university. I was so slim, like literally so slim, probably as slim as my pinky. Okay, maybe a little bit of an exaggeration, but I was very skinny. Now I'm gonna go as far as to say I'm in between a 12 and a 14, which is by no means big. However, it is not how I feel comfortable, and I just want to put a disclaimer here for any girls out there who are watching that are in between size 12 and 14. If you're happy, you do you, that's fantastic. If you're healthy as a 12 to 14, perfect, keep doing what you're doing. However, I am not a healthy 12 to 14. I don't exercise enough, I don't eat the right things. So I'm going to the gym. I've got a lovely personal trainer, which I am starting today as I film this. And I think it'll be good to relieve some stress. I really do. I think I've built up a lot of anger and a lot of tension and a lot of stress because of my lifestyle and my schedule. I don't really have a lot of time for me. So I feel like the gym is going to give me that me time. Because even on my days off, I will film, and I usually book any appointments that I need to go to on a Tuesday. So generally, I really don't have a lot of free time on a Tuesday. Or I see people on a Tuesday. I don't have any time for me, which is important. It's so important to just have me time. So that's gonna, I think the gym's really gonna help me. And I can also do like a weight loss transformation video, or like a weight loss journey video as well, if you guys want. So that's my little update and why I'm back. I'm really, really sad that it took us so long to get the courage to come back, but honestly, I just felt like I needed a break with everything that's happened over the past sort of week or two. So I'm not going to say what I'm going to film next week, but I do have some ideas. I'm going to do a little poll on Instagram just to see what you guys would like us to film. And I'll see you guys hopefully next week. Bye, everyone.